And what I would like to know is why, like, part of my family had businesses off the reservation. And how would you guys feel about hiring off-reservation businesses to come in and do work on the reservation? My family have put in bids for things here and have not even been considered.
Is this. There's no fairness in the way we procure our contracts, especially if the Bureau tells us 80% of your contracts are going to 2 families. That's an issue for me. That's a concern for me. I think we could promote tribal members who own businesses to come to work here. But I think the idea behind it, if we had a good taro program, which we don't have, which has been zeroed out for the last 6 years, is to help promote Cheyenne businesses to receive contracts. But again, the idea is primarily to promote businesses on the reservation. And I think that should still be a goal. On the other hand, there's got to be maybe a level of preference, especially if they're tribal members who own a business off the reservation that can do the work. But I think it comes down to the bidding process and the fairness behind that. I think there's got to be an effort by the administration, what I call spread the wealth with our contracts. Break them up and allow people to get more contracts. Instead of having one major contract do a job, let's break it up so everybody can get a piece of that pie.
Okay, I've actually had a lot of experience with working with contractors, and I was a taro director for a few years, and our taro policy does say tribal member preference. Tribal member businesses should have preference. It don't matter to me. I'm not one of these that said that believes your bloodline stops at the border. Any tribal member, I don't care where you live, if you meet the criteria for a contract, and if you're up in the running, then you got to be selected. I do know I've seen a lot of first-hand problems with, we make it through the process, the bidding process, and then it gets tangled up in procurement, and there's all kinds of problems with procurement. And then maybe they do get, and I'm talking tribal member-owned businesses, maybe they do get the contract, and then they're not getting paid. They got to fight for every penny that they get. And it is not fair. We're not having an equal application of our policies and our ordinances that's supposed to protect every tribal member. We're not having an equal application of the laws for our own people. And that's wrong. The one thing that I am very adamant about is, if I do get in there, it's going to be, we apply the policies the way they're written across the board. And if they don't work, we don't go around them. We take them back to the council to fix. That's the job of the council, is to review those policies. We make the recommendations to the council, and we fix those because all of our people have the right to the contracts from our tribe.
I guess I want to give you an example. Here's what I always try to reiterate. If it benefits the reservation Cheyenne, it's going to benefit the off-reservation Cheyenne. That's primarily what our government is set up to do, is to govern our lands here, over there, and our people who reside on that land. I'll give you an example of housing home ownership program. We have a tribal home ownership program that helps promote home ownership on the reservation. Now, we would defeat the purpose if we allowed tribal members living in Billings to take advantage of a down payment assistance program to buy a house in Billings, because that's where they work and that's where they live. The program is set up to promote home ownership on the reservation so they can own a home, so they have some equity, So they can be lending on trust land. And that's, I guess, the frame of mind I want to remind our membership, that if it benefits our reservation people, where our statistics are the highest for health disparities, for substance abuse, for incarcerations, for mortality, death, suicide, high school dropouts, that's where our statistics are. That's what we need to focus on. But I'm not saying I'm against the off-reservation, which I think has been put out there. I'm saying what benefits us here, benefit our people off the reservation also.
You know, a few years ago, there's a fellow married into the tribe. He's from the Hopi tribe. And they've got a housing program there. And they offered him a house. He didn't have to go back to his home to have a house. They said, wherever you want to live, we're going to build you a house. And he built a house right over there in Busby. And it's a beautiful home, really nice. I believe that our responsibility to our tribal members and the government follows you wherever you go. It's just that simple. Because we have people, like this lady said, she's been gone for 20 years. She didn't forget the people, she didn't forget the reservation, she didn't forget her home, and she eventually came back. Because you leave doesn't stop. You should not be put on hold until you can come back. That just don't make sense to me. It's not anything I can really picture. The real solution here is, what are we doing to help our people who live wherever they're at? You know, what about building our own economy where we're not going by the government's regulations and rules?
Then there's lots of these kids who don't understand. They think they're going to spend their money just for right now. And there's lots in there for their education and their health and all that stuff that just stop them with their families. You know, that the kids got to understand that. And I hope there's some kind of encouragement that, you know, we push them, you know, to help them out. The impasse going to, get not only going to help theirs, but, on the reservation wide, and that it's there for the kids, for we got to look out for our youth, that it's just coming up, that we're coming up over there, then well, that's what I got to say. Maybe I don't understand that, but that's what I got to say.
Okay, I was raised in a working family, and we never had much. We were pretty poor. But if nothing else, I learned that work ethic, and I learned the value of work. And I've worked hard in my life. I've done all sorts. I've worked in coal mines. I've worked in ranching and construction and all these things, and that helped shape who I am today, good, bad, or ugly. That's just the way it is. I have a very strong work ethic. Work keeps me out of mischief. I believe that because these programs are leaving us is not a real reason to say, well, let's replace it with work. And I agree with JC that work it's a cure. It's a community cure. It's good for us. Now, we need to prepare. Every election we hear a lot about, our kids, education and jobs, blah, blah, blah. Nothing seems to be done. Why aren't we focusing on that? Why aren't we putting money where our mouth is? If we're talking for the kids, if we're saying we want them educated, let's help them at least get educated. If they want to go to vocational school, if they want to get into an apprenticeship program, if they want to get into a union, let's help them. And one of the things I want to do is start a career guidance program, start working with these kids from the 9th grade or even earlier to to understand the value, understand their career goals, and then if we're going to be training them in all these jobs, we have to gear up our tribe to be able to have a place for them once they understand they've got careers. So we want them to come back home, bring their families home, raise their families. We want to be around our children and grandchildren.
I guess it's kind of gearing towards education and what education can do as far as helping instill values. Our youth need to learn that idea of setting goals and accomplishing them. And we can do that by giving them basic training at a young age to do budget management, to set up accounts, to know the real value of money. I like the saying, money is really important. Why? You handle it with care. It's like a gun. You can go hunt with it and feed yourself, or it can kill. That's how we gotta look at the way our youth are handling their money. In regards to education, yesterday I proposed that our tribe look at a model of creating a pipeline for education, starting at a young age with our Head Start program, even before that, with our mothers, to ensure that when they go up this pipeline to school, and they maybe reach middle school, that we start to find out which track they're going to be on. Not everybody goes to college. There's few of us. It's a dropout rate of 42 to 48%. That's really high. There's a large, crack that they're falling through. So why not have a trade or a skilled profession they can learn? Create a vocational track. And there's models out there to follow. There was a program here called From Cradle to College. That's what we do. We have an idea, a vision of what we want our youth to be. Successful and also viable members of our community. But that starts with education. And I would look at developing that tracking system. From Head Start, we have the programs, we have our schools, we have our tribal college. It's all here, we just never networked them together. We've never utilized them for one purpose and one goal.
Okay, and then like I said, my dad was a hard worker. Education started in the home. And you know, we run for office and we do all these wonderful things, but does that really make us leaders? I tell you what, leaders are you people that get up every day, you take care of your home, you go to work, you come home, you take care of your family, take care of your children, take care of the house. You're a leader right there. And these little guys that are sitting there watching you, they are learning at that time how to conduct their lives. So the work ethic for me started in the home. If we can make a change, any change with the children, and let them know that work is a way of life, a good way of life, we're not only going to change them, but we're going to change their children and future generations. So it's important for all of us to understand that we are role models. If we've got children, small children in the home, they're learning from us for our own behavior. And that's why the community has to be involved in the whole process, because it starts in the home.
You know, I work a lot with the youth. I worked a lot with the White Buffalo Project they had in Busby. I do a community open gym every night for the youth and for the adults. And you know, I talk to them a lot. And I was a youth when I was on council. Think about it, 25 years old. I was the voice for the youth. And what I always, tell my family is our leaders need to be role models. They got to be able to hold a high standard, not just ethics, but family life. So when a kid growing up looks at them and says, I want to be like him. I want to go to school where he wants to go. I want to work where he works. I think that's really important for our kids to see that our council members, our president, are role models. And I think that helps with what we're losing right now is our cultural identity and our ability to reach higher goals. And that's what I would promote. And I think that still involves our programs. If our programs are now providing services, let's utilize it and instill back some of these values. Because that's what funding is available for, and that's what some of our experts are training to do now.